Hi everyone, Aaron here for Zollotech, and iOS 11.2.5 and iOS 11.3 Beta 1 have been out for at least a few days, and I thought I'd give you a follow-up based on my experience and some feedback from you. So first of all, I'm running iOS 11.2.5 on my iPhone 8 Plus. Now previously I was running the beta. The beta was pretty stable by the end, and I think for most people it's been pretty good. When it comes to the beta, I'm running that on my iPhone 10, and that's because it has some new features that the previous devices, or I guess non-Animoji devices have, or Face ID devices have. So this particular device just has a few more features, so I decided to run it there. Now, as far as this beta has gone, the beta has a few issues, but 11.2.5 for me running on this device has been pretty stable. I really can't complain. I haven't had any app crashes. I haven't had any freezes. Everything is smooth. I actually haven't had the rotation lock bug, which on the Plus devices, if you have landscape, where you can do that with the phone, sometimes when you would unlock the phone or do something else, it would rotate quickly one way and then back. And it just was really annoying when you were doing that. For those of you that are wondering, this is Edison Mail. It's just something I've been using, but a lot of you have been asking every video. Edison Mail, I've just tried it out. I'm using the regular email app still on my iPhone 10. So I just thought I'd try it out. It's pretty good. Try it out. I'm pretty sure it's free, so it's not sponsored or anything, but a lot of you just keep asking, so I just thought I'd share that. But this particular 11.2.5 has been pretty good for most people, but I did a poll, and in the poll 1,045 of you responded, which is great response. It seems like we're getting more and more every time. So if you're not following me on Twitter, please follow me. If you'd like to check these out, you can see what other people say, and we'll take a look. So this is a mixture of 11.2.5 and 11.3. The good thing is in 11.3, 43% of you said it's great, 7% said it's terrible. As far as 11.2.5, 40% and 10%. Now, both of these numbers are up from the previous times I've asked. So I believe it was 11% said it was terrible. So we've got more people participating and less people saying it's terrible. So that's a good sign. So let's take a look at 11.2.5, people that responded with that. So people were saying iOS 11.3 beta on iPhone 10 is pretty smooth, but the battery life is not as good as iPhone 11 or iOS 11.2.5. Here's someone, Stefan, that sent along the landscape bug. Let me show you what it means when I was talking about that. So he recorded this, so that's pretty great. So see how it just rotates like that? It just does that randomly when you unlock the phone. So it's pretty annoying, and it's just something that I've noticed. So I love the wallpapers. Can you send me some? They're always linked in the description. Any of the wallpapers that I'm using, if you like them in any of my videos, I link them in the description and thank the person that sent them to me. As far as the other one, 11.2.5 on iPhone 7, and the battery drain isn't fixed still. Now, some other people have been saying battery life is really good. So you may have an issue with your battery, or you just might be a really heavy user. But if you've been using it for a day, give it at least 2 or 3 days for the battery to fully drain and then recharge and cycle a couple times, and that's usually when you start getting the good battery life. So again, stay on 11.2.5 as 11.3 is the first beta. It could be buggy. That's true. Every app on my iPhone 6s, including WhatsApp, is crashing. I'm assuming you're under the beta, because I had some apps crash under the beta on iPhone 10 as well. On iOS 11.3. On 11.2.5, iPhone 5s is quite smooth. Battery life is sad, though. So I've seen both responses. I've seen that it's great. Either way, people are saying it's great on the 5s, but kind of good or bad battery life, depending on what phone you have. Very fast performance at first, but after 5 hours or more, opening apps are very slow, and sometimes it freezes. I downgraded to 11.2.5. So this is what I'm finding, is after reading all of your responses, 11.2.5 feels smoother, faster, and generally overall more stable than the previous versions. So I think for most of you, it's going to be really good. Now, if you're on an older device and you want some of that speed back, a lot of people are saying that on older devices such as a 6S or a 7 Plus, that the speed is much better, and that's because Apple is no longer throttling those devices. Now they're going to put a switch in there under the battery so you can toggle on and off throttling versus shutting your phone off because of the battery. I think that they kind of got caught also and just turned off throttling altogether because they've been doing it for years, and it's definitely affecting iPhone 6, 6S, and now 7 since they've included that. So if you want to try it out, just beware that it might not be stable, because for me, it's been very smooth most of the time, but then occasionally it will lock up. So it feels fast and fluid, 3D touch, everything else is nice and fast, nothing with scrolling or anything like that. But sometimes I could be in apps such as weather, I could be in calendar, I could be in anything, and then my phone will just freeze for a second and then resume. So it's not horrible, but it definitely happens, and apps do crash from time to time on this 11.3 Beta 1. Also, if you're using Apple CarPlay, I've noticed when you use Maps, since you only have regular Maps as that option, Maps seems to be really strange. Sometimes it crashes, sometimes it doesn't work at all unless I unplug and plug the phone back in. And then other times it works and then the location isn't correct, or it doesn't work for about 30 seconds to a minute. So something's up there. I don't know if they're making changes to it for the future, but in the first beta, it's a little buggy, at least for me. Everything else, though, seems to be working okay. I haven't had any issues as far as that goes, just that freezing. And I think battery life has been good for me too. I really haven't thought about it, and normally if I get through a day and don't think about it, my battery's pretty good. Now I haven't really plugged it in too much today, but we're at 70%. I might have plugged it in my car for 20 minutes or something. But let's take a look and see what some people said way down here at the bottom. iPhone 7 Plus on 11.3, speed is great, and the battery life is better than it was on iOS 10. Both of them are terrible. I used them both, and they were awful. Hope Apple fix this ASAP on iPhone 7. Again, give it a day or so before or a day or two at least, before you say the battery's terrible, because it has to re-index the phone too. It has to basically figure out where all the files are again. And there's a lot of background activity that goes on, especially when you upgrade to a beta for the first time, and it's about 2 gigabytes. It's going to take a while to re-index and do a bunch of things in the background that might slow it down and cause it to have bad battery life for that day or two. Let's see. My iPhone 10 is running so fast on iOS 11.2.5. So basically, like I said, if you look at the results at the top, I think that's pretty telling that it's getting better. So only 7% said it's terrible. So overall, it's getting better. We're just waiting for, really what I'm more excited for and waiting for is iOS 12 or whatever they're going to do in the future that we'll see in probably June at WWDC, or the Worldwide Developer Conference. So that's really it. I don't have much more to say other than 11.2.5 is pretty stable, and 10 or 11.3 Beta 1 is semi-stable, very fast for most, but is still very much a beta. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe and like. As always, thanks for watching. This is Aaron. I'll see you next time.